There is a certain kind of stillness that happens just before I begin to speak. Most people never notice it. They rush past it. They fill it with noise, endless scrolling, constant thoughts, worries repeating themselves over and over again inside their minds. But every now and then, someone pauses. Someone leans in without even realizing why. Someone turns inward, and quietly, almost unconsciously, turns toward me. And that exact moment, is the opening I have been waiting for. So listen carefully now, turn your face toward me. That's all I'm asking. Not perfection. Not a long prayer. Not a list of everything you've done wrong. Just your attention. Just a single moment where your heart looks back at the one who has been watching over you all along. Let me tell you something. There was once a boy named Samuel. He was young. Maybe around 12. Maybe even younger. He slept in the temple, on a simple mat, near the ark. His life wasn't extraordinary, at least not yet. He wasn't known. He wasn't powerful. He wasn't a prophet. He was just a boy, faithfully serving, quietly present. He helped an old priest named Eli, whose eyes had grown weak with age. And in those days, people believed something very dangerous. They believed that I had stopped speaking. They believed heaven had gone silent. Many had already given up expecting to hear from me at all. And yet, that's when I called his name. Samuel. He didn't recognize my voice. How could he? So he ran to Eli and said, "Here I am. You called me." But Eli said, "I didn't call you. Go back to sleep." So he went back. And again, I called. Samuel. Again he ran. Again he was sent back. And then a third time. Samuel. Now listen closely. Because this matters for you. I didn't stop after the first time. I didn't give up after the second. I kept calling. Until he understood. That is who I am. I am patient with those who are still learning to recognize my voice. And I am patient with you too. Every time you thought I had gone silent, I was still calling. Every time you misunderstood the call, I didn't get offended. I simply called again. Because your name is precious to me. Eventually, Eli understood what was happening. And he told Samuel, "If he calls you again, say this, speak, Lord. Your servant is listening." So Samuel returned to his place. And I called once more. Samuel. And this time, he answered, "Speak, Lord. Your servant is listening." And everything changed. That is the posture I am inviting you into. Right now. Not tomorrow. Not when life gets easier. Now. Not a posture of control. Not a posture of explanation. But a posture of listening. Now listen closely. Because this matters for you. I didn't stop after the first time. I didn't give up after the second. I kept calling. Until he understood. That is who I am. I am patient with those who are still learning to recognize my voice. And I am patient with you too. Every time you thought I had gone silent, I was still calling. Every time you misunderstood the call, I didn't get offended. I simply called again. Because your name is precious to me. Eventually, Eli understood what was happening. And he told Samuel, "If he calls you again, say this, speak, Lord. Your servant is listening." So Samuel returned to his place. And I called once more. Samuel. And this time, he answered, "Speak, Lord. Your servant is listening." And everything changed. That is the posture I am inviting you into. Right now. Not tomorrow. Not when life gets easier. Now. Not a posture of control. Not a posture of explanation. But a posture of listening. You've been running for a long time. From one responsibility to another. From one worry to the next. Trying to keep everything together. And somewhere along the way, you stopped expecting me to speak. But something brought you here. Something made you pause. And deep inside, you're beginning to ask, is that you? Yes. It is me. It has always been me. Every moment that stirred your heart. Every unexplained peace. Every sudden feeling that told you to keep going. That wasn't random. That was me. Calling your name in the only way you could hear at the time. And listen carefully, your waiting season was not empty. It was preparation. Just like Samuel. You were being shaped. Strengthened. Prepared to carry what is coming. Because if it had come earlier, you wouldn't have been ready. But now, something has shifted. Now you can receive. Without fear. Without forcing. Now you can trust. And I want you to hear this clearly, I am about to do something deep within you. Not something temporary. Not something surface level. Something real. Something that reaches the parts of you you've kept hidden for years. But for that to happen, I need your attention. Not because I demand it, but because transformation requires connection. So stay. Don't rush this moment. Don't scroll away. Let the silence speak. Because the silence is where I speak the loudest. Now listen carefully. I want you to understand something about attention. Because many people misunderstand what it really means. Attention is not just looking at something. It is not just hearing words. Attention is when you offer your heart fully. It is when you say, I am here. I'm not distracted. I'm not divided. I'm listening. It is the opposite of living scattered. The opposite of being pulled in 100 directions at once. It is choosing one voice, one presence, and allowing everything else to become quiet. That is exactly what Samuel did on that night. And that is exactly what I am inviting you to do now. You don't need a special place. You don't need perfect conditions. You don't need to prepare anything. You can be sitting where you are, lying down, walking, or even holding your phone in your hand. That does not matter. What matters is the shift inside you. That small inner movement that says, okay Lord, I'm here now. Say it quietly inside your heart, speak Lord. Your servant is listening. Don't rush past those words. Let them settle. Let them breathe inside you. Stay here for a moment. Do you feel that? Something just changed. Something softened. That restlessness inside you. That constant noise. It just slowed down. That is not imagination. That is what happens when your heart aligns with my presence. I want you to understand something about stillness. Because many people avoid it. They think silence means emptiness. They think if everything becomes quiet, there is nothing there. But that is not true. Stillness is not empty. Stillness is full. It is where everything finally comes into order. It is where truth begins to rise. It is where I speak the clearest. The reason silence feels uncomfortable is because in silence, you begin to hear your own heart. And your heart has things it has been trying to say. Things you have been avoiding. Things you have been pushing down. But listen, I am not afraid of what is inside you. I already know it. I created you. I understand every corner of your heart. Even the parts you don't fully understand yourself. So let the silence stay. Let your heart speak. And then, let me respond. If you give me even a few minutes like this each day, Just a few moments of real attention. Your life will begin to change in ways you cannot imagine right now. Not suddenly. Not dramatically at first. But deeply. Quietly. Powerfully. Now listen. Many people think my voice has to be loud. They expect thunder. They expect something overwhelming. But that is not how I usually speak. Let me remind you of Elijah. He was exhausted, discouraged, running for his life. He had just experienced something incredible. But instead of peace, he felt fear. He felt alone. He even asked to give up. So I brought him to a mountain. And I told him I would pass by. Then something powerful happened. A strong wind came. So strong it shook the rocks. But I was not in the wind. Then an earthquake came. But I was not in the earthquake. Then fire came. But I was not in the fire. And then, after everything loud had passed, there was a whisper. A soft, gentle, almost unnoticeable sound. And that is where I was. Understand this clearly. I am often in the whisper. Not in the noise. Not in the chaos. But in the quiet. In the subtle. In the gentle nudge you almost ignore. So stop waiting for something dramatic. Instead, start noticing that small feeling in your chest. That thought that keeps returning. That quiet peace that appears without reason. That is how I speak. A whisper requires closeness. You cannot hear a whisper from far away. A whisper means I am near. Closer than you realize. Closer than you have allowed yourself to believe. And right now, you are already responding. You are already leaning in. You are already listening. Even if you don't fully understand it yet. Do not underestimate this moment. Something is already happening inside you. Something has already begun. I am starting a new work within your heart. I am touching the places you thought were beyond healing. I am unlocking doors you kept closed for years. I am bringing life back to things you believed were gone. But hear this clearly, you will not notice this work if your attention keeps turning away. That is why I am asking you again, stay here. Stay present. Stay open. Let me speak. Let me move. Let me do what only I can do. I want to take you even deeper into this moment. Because what is happening right now is not small. It is not ordinary. It is not just another message you happen to come across. This is a turning point. There are parts of you that have gone quiet over time. Not because you didn't care. Not because you lost faith completely. But because life became heavy. Disappointments stacked on top of each other. Prayers that felt unanswered. Moments where you expected something to change. But nothing did. And slowly, without even realizing it, you stopped expecting me to move in your life personally. You still believed in me. But you stopped believing that I would move for you. But hear me clearly now, you are not forgotten. You were never overlooked. Not for a single moment. What you called silence was not my absence. It was the space between your prayer and my preparation. Because while you were waiting, I was working. Arranging things you could not see. Protecting you from things you did not understand. Aligning people, moments, and outcomes in ways you could not control. You thought nothing was happening. But everything was happening. I saw every small moment of your life. The quiet kindness you showed. The patience you gave when it was hard. The times you chose to stay strong. Even when you felt like breaking. Nothing you did was invisible to me. Nothing was wasted. Not your pain. Not your tears. Not your waiting. You thought you were just surviving. But I was planting something inside you. Something that is now beginning to grow. There is a harvest coming in your life that you didn't even realize you were preparing for. Seeds you planted in pain are about to rise in purpose. And this moment right here, this quiet moment where you are listening, this is where the shift begins. But I need you to understand something important. This is not about one big moment. This is about a new way of living. A rhythm. A rhythm of coming back. A rhythm of listening. A rhythm of turning your heart toward me. Again and again. Because you will drift sometimes. That is human. Even the strongest believers drift. Even those closest to me lost focus at times. But drifting is not the problem. The problem is staying away. What matters is that you return. Again. And again. And again. Every time you come back, you grow stronger. Every time you listen again, you become clearer. Every time you turn your face toward me, your life begins to align. This is how transformation really happens. Not in one moment, but in 1,000 small moments of choosing me. Now hear this carefully. Because this is something your heart needs to receive. You do not need to earn my attention. You never did. You are not being tested. You are not being evaluated. You are already loved. Fully. Completely. Before you got anything right, I chose you. Before you improved, I saw you. Before you even understood me, I was already with you. So stop trying to prove yourself. Stop trying to become worthy enough. You already are. All I am asking is that you turn toward me. Now let me ask you something. The same question I once asked a man who cried out to me in faith, "What do you want me to do for you?" Don't rush that question. Don't give a surface answer. Go deeper. Because many of you have stopped wanting. You trained yourself not to hope too much. Because hope hurt when it didn't happen. But I am telling you now, you can want again. You can believe again. You can ask again. Say it in your heart. Be honest. Be real. Because I am listening. Not just speaking. Listening. And what you bring to me, I will handle with care. Now understand this, what is coming into your life next will not come through force. It will come through alignment. Through your connection with me. Through your willingness to stay close. Through your decision to keep listening. Even when life gets busy again. Because everything I am preparing for you is not just a blessing. It is a relationship. If you receive it while staying connected to me, it will feel full. Complete. Right. But if you rush ahead without me, it will feel empty. So stay. Stay connected. Stay aware. Stay listening. Because something has already started. Something real. Something deep. Something that will unfold step by step. And one day, you will look back at this exact moment and realize, this was the beginning. Now take a breath. Slowly. Feel your heart. Feel the stillness. And receive this. You are not alone. You are guided. You are seen. You are protected. You are chosen. And I am with you. Right now. Closer than you think. Now respond. Not later. Now. If this message reached your heart, don't ignore it. Right pointing finger emoji, like this video right now as a sign of agreement. Right pointing finger emoji, comment speak Lord, I'm listening to seal this moment. Right pointing finger emoji, share this with 3 people who need to hear this today. And if you want to keep receiving messages like this, Right pointing finger emoji, subscribe now. Because the next word might be exactly what you need.